Hey guys, vlogging all night here. So today I'm doing a different kind of video. This is one of my more serious videos, but I also don't think I've done a video like this before, and I want to because I have an opinion on this topic and I just want to express it. And so here we go. So you guys may have heard about the news buzzing with Demi Lovato being back in the hospital after a drug overdose on heroin. Now, first thing, I'm going to stop myself right there. When the reports first came out, they said that she had a drug overdose with heroin. But now if you go back and look, it says apparent drug overdose, apparent heroin overdose. Every single link you go to says apparent. There's no proof that that's what she was doing and that's what she overdosed on. Yes, obviously she overdosed on something since she needed Narcan to be revived, but everyone just automatically assumes that it's heroin because that's what she dealt with before. And for the people that really love Demi and it's been there for her and have supported her, they know that, yeah, she's had issues, but she's been sober for 6 years, and she had a past, but her past doesn't define her future and doesn't automatically mean that's what she's going back to. I'm not trying to bash anyone's opinion. This is just my opinion, and from what I'm seeing online, I feel like the paparazzi, TMZ, the news reporters, they're just looking for a story. And I'm not thinking that. I know that. They're just looking for a story, whatever is going to get on views, whatever is going to get their ratings up for their TV shows. You know? And that's what they're looking for. So they're trying to make it look as worse as they can. They don't know what's going on. They're just assuming from what they're hearing, like the rest of us. So really, they don't got any more proof than we do. Yes, obviously something happened with her. She did something to cause her to have an overdose. But that's not mean it was heroin. Anyway, to get off of that topic so I'm not repeating myself over and over again, what I want to talk about is she struggles, you know. She has depression, she has bipolar, and all them things affect the outcome with drug addiction. I mean, I've seen people on here saying how they don't believe it's a disease, it's a choice. I'm going to say this. I believe it's both. When you're first starting and getting addiction, and before, say, like the very first time when you're doing drugs, it's, yes, you're sober at that point, you don't know what's going on. You're like, you know what, if you're in that mindset that it's not going to hurt me, one time won't hurt, but if you have that addictive capability in your genes, then that's not going to help. Like, you know, some people are, if you look it up, addiction is literally something that can be passed down through genetics. Same with alcoholism, same with mental illnesses. They're passed down, and she has these, which makes it hard. And from what I was going with this, I know I'm kind of over the place because I haven't really rehearsed what I'm saying. I'm just kind of speaking to you guys as I'm going. But Demi has a lot of issues. We all can admit that. She has a lot of struggles. She's had a hard life growing up. People are like, oh, well, she's just some famous girl that gets whatever she wants. You have to understand, when the musicians are going through what they're going through, especially on Disney and stuff, they get so stressed out. She started, a beauty pageant at age 10, I think it was. And from there, she was on Disney. She was doing TV shows, commercials. Then when she did Camp Rock, she blew up into a superstar. And that's when her depression, like, really was getting her. And her bipolar was really getting her, you know. And she didn't know what was going on at first. I remember, right now I'm talking about the past. I'm not talking about this first time. I'm talking about the last time she had this incident. You know, she didn't know she had bipolar. Now, this is where I come in with my views and how I'm relating to this, because I have bipolar disorder. I was diagnosed, I think, when I was 8. Most people don't get diagnosed until their late 20s, like her, you know, because it's just hard to find. I got lucky and I knew what it was, and I grew up knowing there's something going on with me, and I knew how to control it. But people don't understand, when you have bipolar and you get to them points where you get to your lows, I mean, you're not even yourself. I call it like having a twin, because there you have the good side of me when I'm nice, calm, fun, energetic, and then there's the other side of me, dark, depressing, hating life, you know, just everyone pissing me off, wanting to sleep all day. I have both them sides. And when I get to them lows, I do a lot better now than I did when I was younger. I used to get so bad, I would see red. I wouldn't know what was going on. You know, I would do something, I would get in fights. And when I come out of it, I'm like, it was like a trance. I'm like, I don't know what I did. And then I'm calm and I'm fine. And everyone's mad at me. And I'm just like, can we let it go like it never happened? Because now I'm good. Because it wasn't me doing that. It was my mental illness. You know, I can't, you know, and I consider with her mental illness going on, you know, you have to understand it. It's hard to control. It's not as easy as you guys think. It's hard. And it's just, I understand it so much. You know, when I heard what she was saying on a documentary about her bipolar and stuff, it's like, I totally relate and I can see where she's coming from with these struggles. Like, she got to the point the one time where she punched out her backup dancer for telling on her for doing Adderall. Now, you guys will see that in the interview documentary as well. And she got to the point, she went up, punched the girl, sat down, put her headphones on. I've got to that point where I've done stuff like that before. I'm not going to lie, I'll admit it. I've had a bad past. And when you're having these things, like I said, I see it as you see red. I don't know what's going on. I'm not me. I'm just, if you're in my way, you're going to get effed up, and I don't care what I do. I get like having, in that moment, I don't have remorse. But it's not that I don't really have remorse. It's, I don't know what's going on. And when I calm down and I come to, I'm a completely different person. Sometimes I don't even remember what I did. I'll like black out and I'm like, I didn't do that. I'll straight up tell someone, I'm like, I did not just do that. No, I didn't. You're wrong. And I totally did do it. But I really didn't think I did. And you get them points and you're not yourself, you know, and you do these things and people just need to understand and be patient, you know, that you have these addictions, you have these illnesses, you know, she needs help. She doesn't need criticism and people putting her information all over the news. That's another thing. I know she's famous, so she's going to have to deal with that. But I just wish people, when it comes to this kind of stuff, they shouldn't plaster this all over the internet. They shouldn't be talking, oh, she fell off the wagon again. Oh, she's in the hospital. Give her some damn privacy, people. I mean, do you think that's going to help her heal? Is that going to, the stress of everyone knowing that she fell off the wagon, is that going to help her recovery in any way? No, that's going to make it worse. It's going to stress her out. It's going to have all these people bothering her, asking her these questions. Why are you doing drugs again? Why is this? What? Let the girl, she's in the damn hospital. Let her heal. Let her rest. Here's the video. I'm also going to put the full documentary link down below if you guys want to check that out. Listen to what she has to say, you know. It's not always one-sided. You can't believe everything you see and hear on the internet. Yes, she's having struggles. Yes, she's having issues, but it doesn't mean she's went back to doing that stuff. And then people are also saying because her song Sober is talking about her falling off the wagon and apologizing to her mom and her dad for drinking and stuff. She never really exactly said about any drugs in that. She was talking more about drinking. But, you know, if you listen to the song, take a listen. I'll also put the link to the song down there. You can hear she's upset. You can hear she's asking for help, you know. She's trying. She just feels so alone. And I can relate to that. When you get to that point, you're just so alone and you have no one. And I also want to clarify this because I don't want people thinking, oh, are you doing drugs, Emily? I've never had any experience doing hardcore drugs or anything like that. So, no, I can't speak from that point of view. But I have friends who struggle with drug addiction or alcoholism and family, a very close family. A lot of people in my family actually I've dealt with that have these issues.
Growing up, I had been bullied in school and I felt like an outsider. I felt like an outcast. At that time, I became friends with a girl who was popular. And one day I asked her, how do you have all these friends? And she was like, well, do you party? I was like, what do you mean? And she asked me, do you drink? We experienced a lot of stuff together, drinking and using and growing up.
We started drinking fairly early. To me, it was like, we're just having fun. We're kids. Everyone's doing it, so we're going to too. Little did we know that there was gonna be like this downward spiral.
My first time doing coke, I was 17, working on Disney Channel. And I was with a couple friends, and they introduced me to it. I was scared because my mom always told me that your heart could just burst if you do it. But I did it anyways, and I loved it. I felt out of control with the coke the first time that I did it. My dad was an addict and an alcoholic, and I guess I always searched for what he found in drugs and alcohol because it fulfilled him, and he chose that over a family.
Early on, Demi was very, very sad because of her issues with her dad.
We had been through a lot of the same things, kind of at the same time. Our parents were both divorced at a young age. She dealt a lot with her dad. And the times where Fee was brought up wasn't ever good. Like, Fee would tell them he had cancer when he didn't. Or he would tell them he's dying tomorrow when he wasn't.
Growing up, I was always really protective of Demi. I remember my dad was such a loving person, but when he started drinking, he was very different.
Scary things began to happen.
He would rage and yell and throw things, and Demi saw that.
At the time, I didn't understand it. I didn't know how to handle things. But I knew that he had a good heart. I never would have married him in the first place if he didn't. But sometimes if you don't get help for what you're struggling with, a good heart sometimes isn't enough. It just became too much and I had to leave.
From a young age, Demi, my mom, and I had this incredible bond. We called ourselves the 3Ds. It felt kind of like it was us against the world.
He's a real nice dad. He's not like my others. I don't want to know about. Some of you do.
Eddie's my dad. When I say my dad and I mean my birth father, I mention that it's my birth father.
Even though the dynamic in our family was always very loving and very open, on the other hand, we were also very closed off and secretive as well. We all had our own things hidden behind our own closed doors. There were some things that nobody knew.
I was depressed at a very, very young age, fascinated with death, wondering what it would be like to have a funeral. I never knew why I would think so darkly. And it took me a long time to figure out what was actually going on.
Look at how serious I am in this picture. I've got the head tilt and the smiles. We started modeling a little bit when I was like 5. And by modeling, we didn't have an agent. We just took pictures. We didn't do anything like any actual jobs. Then we started doing beauty pageants, and that's what got me into singing.
Hi, my name is Demi. Hi,
Don't need to back up.
I'm gonna be on Jackass.
We started off doing pageants, and I started to realize that Demi, I guess, was
Gifted. I booked Camp Rock. I was 15.
Rock on.
When I met Phil, he was managing the Jonas Brothers.
We met Demi, I think originally it was an audition of our TV show. We had a TV show called Jonas. She didn't get it, but I think a year later, I think we met in rehearsals probably for Camp Rock. Demi was attached to the film already.
And I remember you went in because you had to sing the duet with Demi's character. You had already laid down your part. So I went in with Joe, and I heard her voice, and I just had like goosebumps all over my arms. I was like, I stepped out of the studio and I called Disney. I was like, who is this girl?
I saw what he did for the Jonas Brothers, and the fact that he wanted to manage me was a huge deal to me because he was with them through it all.
Starring in Camp Rock was Demi's big break. It was just a massive franchise that Disney had put everything behind, and it just became a pop culture sort of sensation.
To be able to get to do something as big as this for my first project, it feels great.
We really believed that Camp Rock was the vehicle to become a superstar. And it was like overnight, she became a household name. I think Demi was cast in so many different Disney projects because there was a natural edge to her that made her authentic and believable as an actress or as an artist. I think they needed her to make their projects cooler.
Everything happened so fast.
We officially signed, and the next day I booked her a plane ticket to go on tour with the Jonas Brothers.
All of a sudden, I was on tour writing songs for my album with the Jonas Brothers, and then I was on a tour of my own. Looking back, I think that it was a lot for anyone, let alone a kid.
I think that Demi being on the Disney Channel, now looking back at it, I can connect the dots and say that there was an immense amount of pressure.
I was now working on my music and my TV show and movies all at the same time.
That lifestyle is really crazy. Not a lot of people understand like the pressures and the time and the amount of work that it actually takes to have such a successful career in the entertainment industry.
So many more expectations put on her than a normal 15, 16-year-old girl would have.
She was living two lives. Here she was, she had to be squeaky clean on the Disney Channel, all types of moral clauses and just intensity around behavior. And once the camera stops rolling, she's living another life. She couldn't really be herself. She couldn't be a normal teenager.
I definitely felt the pressure increase when the fame started to creep into my life. I started feeling pressure to look a certain way, to sing music that I felt people would like, rather than sing music that I would like. There was more pressure to succeed, numbers on charts, and I was a perfectionist, and I really wanted to be the best of the best.
When you are carrying a franchise, there is a standard that everybody expects you to operate at.
They were great to work with.
And I think that it caused a lot of anxiety for her.
And it didn't let up at all. It just mounted more and more.
All of a sudden, she had to be this role model. And I don't think she was ready for that.
I think we started to notice, and really it was the Jonas Brothers kind of like waving a flag, that Demi may be veering off the path.
At that point, you could just feel that things were getting wobbly. It was almost like the wheels were starting to fall off. Prior to that, I think anything that was going on would have been chalked up to, she's a teenage girl. That was like the easy answer, was just to say, well, she's a teenage girl and she's going through stuff and she's being dramatic.
She wasn't this sweet and lovely girl anymore, and I just want to be a kid and do what everybody else does. And like my friends in Texas want to like drink and party, so why shouldn't I drink and party?
Demi had real anger issues.
Difficult, harder to be around.
No, just show me. I have a photograph of them right now.
Demi was pulling anyone that she could like manipulate and change.
She was depressed. She would sleep all the time.
I think it became obvious that she was struggling with herself.
And I didn't realize that it was actually signaling a larger issue.
while we were on tour, Joe and Demi's relationship had become really complicated. So I was playing the bridge, and it became really good, you know, between she and I for a while, and growing closer than we'd ever been. And I remember thinking in my head, you know, I felt like a bit of pride about it, like selfishly maybe I was like, I'm helping her back into, you know, coming back to being the Demi that we all know and love. She's not going to do anything crazy. It's going to be fine. And then this episode happened.
I was in Colombia. I was on the Camp Rock 2 tour. And I invited a bunch of people to dinner, my band and my background dancers. I paid for all the alcohol. Somebody ended up getting weed. I was on Adderall, and we had trashed the hotel. The hotel was like threatening us. They went to some of the dancers and asked what had happened. And I think they told on me for using Adderall. Somebody told Kevin Jonas Sr. and Phil and my dad. I was very upset. I couldn't believe that it happened. Now it was out that I was on Adderall. The next day, I was in a lot of trouble. I remember going to Kevin Sr. and saying, listen, I want to thank whoever told on me because I know they were just worried about me. And, you know, I just really want to know who told you. And I manipulated him into telling me who it was. And he said it was Shorty. Shorty and I had been really close through Camp Rock and Camp Rock 2. So when he said Shorty, I remember thinking, I'm about to beat this bitch up.
I remember I was up in the front of the plane.
She had already boarded the plane.
Demi walks up onto the plane, and I heard some commotion.
I just went up to her, and it was like a blur.
And I turned around, and Demi had punched her backup dancer in the face.
Everyone was freaking out.
She walked right past me without acknowledging me.
I just remember going and sitting down.
Just this angry look on her face.
Texting my mom, I'm sorry.
Put her head on her pillow and shut out the world.
And I slept the whole day.
That was when it dawned on me that this was probably a much bigger situation than just a kid who wanted to party.
I just came to a breaking point.
Addiction isn't a joke. I know people think that, oh, it's a choice and all, but it's not always a choice. You guys won't understand until you're there yourself with things. Addiction's real, it's an illness, and it's been verified as an illness. There's no saying it isn't. But like I said, I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm not, because I'm not trying to start controversy, and I'm trying to just let you guys know how I feel and try to do this respectfully as possible without hiding my own opinion. But I just feel like everyone has their ups and downs, and you just kind of try to help her instead of shaming her. That's basically what I'm getting at. You have to understand, mental illness makes drug addiction so much harder to handle, you know, and she just needs time, and she needs to make the decision, yes, and the first step to recovery is she needs to make that choice and say, look, I'm not in a good place, and I need to go back to rehab, or I need some help. But she can't do that with everyone going around saying how she's a no-good drug addict and all these rumors going around. I've been hearing all these harsh things about this girl, and I don't believe that she's this horrible girl that everyone's making her out to be. That she's a nice, sweet girl that's been through a lot. She's been through hell and back. If you guys actually know her story, which you should after this documentary and all, then you'll understand that there's two sides to every story. I'm just hoping she gets better. My prayers and thoughts are with her and her family, and I'm hoping she'll make the right choice and get some help if she needs it. But I'm just hoping, I don't know what else else. I don't know what my goal was here. I just wanted to express how I was feeling about this. Because addiction's not a joke. Just needs support and love. So I guess that's all I gotta say. I'm gonna go check it out, and I love you guys. And if you like videos like this that I'm making, let me know and I'll make some more. Till then, see you guys.